Welcome to yoga. In our session today, we'll be doing a leg and core burner. Really engaging your mula and uddiyana bandha are a huge part of this practice session today. Lifting the pubic bone to the navel, engaging your perineum muscles and your abdominal muscles. Through the entire class, it's extremely important we're working these bandhas to keep your core active. Come to standing pose, please, top of the talar mat. Step 6 inches to the right with the right foot, heels behind the toes, feet are H, not a V. Bring the arms up in front of you so they're shoulder height and shoulder width. Round the shoulders forward, karate chop hands, strong hands, lift the chest with inhale, and sit back, exhale. Sitting back 3 feet, like I've pulled the chair up behind you. So everybody, really sit back, lift your chest up as high as you can. Thinking about pushing your lower abdomen towards the thighs as you're lifting the chest, creating the biggest back bend or cobra spine you can create here. Jake, turn your toes in just a little bit. So we want to make sure the knees are tracking right over the toes right now, not bowing in or out. And again, we're just going to do one set today, so I really encourage you to sit back. Bring the weight back into the heels. If you can, bring the toes up off the floor, bring the balls of the feet up off the floor, really getting a must-reach feeling here. If you dropped your arms, immediately fall back on the buttocks. This should be a little bit uncomfortable here. And slowly come back up, right up onto the tips of the big toes. Stretching through the arches of the feet is the goal of this posture. Lift the knees, lift the heels. Keep the upper back on a wall and descend your imaginary wall just as far as you can, keeping the upper back on the wall and knees high. For some body types, this is not going to be very far down. Again, what's important is heels are high, upper back on the wall. Lift your back up a little bit, Billy. Find that wall with your upper back. Find that wall with your upper back. Knees in, Jake, a little bit. Thank you. And slowly push your upper back on the wall. Use the wall up, heels high at the top, then rock down. Come right back up an inch or two only and squeeze the inner thighs and knees very tightly together. So squeeze the inner thighs and knees so tightly the legs burn, they can even shake. Don't let them separate. And slide down your imaginary wall. Again, we're working the bandhas here, so lifting pubic bone to navel, really feeling your core in this posture. Pointing the knees down and forward, careful not to sit on your heels. So come as far down as you can without sitting on your heels. Drop down a little bit lower, Billy, with your chest up. Keep the squeeze. Now squeeze and come up 1 inch. 1 inch. Squeeze and come up 1 more inch. Upper back on, and 1 more inch. And squeeze and lift. Push your upper back on the wall coming up. Rock down when you're up. Right foot back to left. Arms at your side. Nothing easy about that, folks. And have a release. And inhale into chair pose. Inhale. Boom. Called Utkatasana. This is a fierce pose. Toes and heels together. Look up, sit down. Lifted through the chest. I want a big cobra spine. Push the buttocks back, lift the chest up, and sit down till the thighs are all the way parallel together. Really challenging yourself here. If this is not healthy for your sacrum, if you're feeling it in low back, again, you tuck the tailbone. Not really the lifting pubic, more of a tuck the tailbone and come out of the lunge a little bit, really engaging abdominals to support sacrum. Sitting just a little bit lower, I'd like everybody to challenge yourself. If you had a chair that was knee height right now, are you sitting your buttocks onto the chair? Lift your chest a little bit higher. We're right there, guys. I know you're all working hard and have a burn. Sit a little bit lower into the chair for the last moment, lifting the chest. And fold, exhale slowly down to release. Inhale, halfway lift. Take a moment here. Really feel some length in the spine. And step to a high push-up or plank posture. Chaturanga Dandasana, gazing forward, not at the floor. Plank on the forearms. Bringing the forearms onto the floor. So I want your hands shoulder width, not interlacing the fingers. Hands shoulder width, folks. Bring the hands to shoulder width. Press the hand into the floor. Spread your fingers and push the whole hand into the floor. And start to squeeze your elbows together a little bit, engaging your chest muscles. But this is about core here, remember. So what's important is we're firing the thighs, and we're active through abs right now. So you cannot squeeze your abdominal muscles or your thighs too tightly right now, really lifting the thighs up away from the knees right now. Gazing forward, eyes off floor, if it's healthy for your neck. If it's not, I want you to use the range of motion you have. It helps to keep the chest lifted. If it brings you further and does not collapse the body, reach your right hand up and forward. If you collapse, there is no reason to do it. Jamie, lift your right arm up. If you collapse, there's no reason to do it. And we're not going to hold this very long. Bring the right arm down and left arm up. And stay strong through core here, folks. Stay nice and strong through core. And if you collapse, the knees can go left arm down, right leg up. We're not going to stay very long today. Right leg up. If it doesn't collapse you, if it collapses you, there is no reason to do it. As soon as the hips start to collapse, we bring the knees to the ground. We don't collapse the posture. Right leg down. Left foot up. Lift it up. I'm going to say that again. There's no compromising the integrity. If you're lifting the hips or collapsing the hips, we bring the knees down and come back into it when we can. And it's just as equally correct to have the knees on the ground, squeezing your elbows and knees. Bring the left foot down, please. Beautiful. Stay right there. Stay right there in core. Squeeze your abs, squeeze your thighs. Stay right there in core. Bring the knees to the ground and come to downward facing dog. Stretch your mat long, down dog, gazing between the toes. So immediately your best example of down dog, hands shoulder width, wrapping the lats around to the chest, reaching the heels to the floor. Beautiful. Stepping into warrior one, inhale the right leg up. Lunge the right foot, drop the left heel 70 degrees and inhale the arms out, back and up. Bring the palms together, look at the outside knuckle. Nice, Alex. So I want nice tight grips, lengthening the arms from the elbows. All these postures tight and compact. Warrior one, very much a Bikram-esque posture. Settle down into the hips a little bit, pulling back on your right heel, squaring the hips. Back left leg is a bond, it's a total lock. Exhale, warrior two. Straight arms over the legs, looking forward. And make this nice and big. Give me a little bit more space. You're leaning a little bit forward, Billy. Let me pull you back with the left arm like I'm pulling you back. Just let me pull you right back here, buddy. Pushing away with your right thigh. That's it. So nice and big, squeezing the heels together. Nice, strong, tight base happening here. Beautiful bases, everybody. So this is so important. Working your Mula and Uddiyana Bandha and squeezing the legs as tightly as you can with a back leg bandha or lock. Turn your palms up and reach forward over the left leg. The base should not float. So your core is strong, and again, this base is just so important in this posture. We want to burn through the quadricep in the right leg, but also working your hamstring, pulling back on the right heel. Like your shoulders are on a wall, slide on the wall and reverse your yoga posture. Reach the left hand down the back of the left leg, reaching space down the right side of the torso right now. Still lifted through the back left thigh, not collapsing the posture, looking past the bicep at the ceiling. And come back to a nice warrior two pose, looking forward. So everybody's got a good burn here. Full extension through the arms. Open your arms up, Jake. Turn your palms up and reach forward again. Pulling back. So this is a burner. This class is intended to be an intense leg burner, folks. There's nothing easy about this class right now. If you're collapsing the posture, if you're compromising the integrity, I want you to come out of it and come back into it and not do damage. And reverse the posture again. Reach space down the right side of the body. Reach compression down the left. Warrior two, right elbow to the inside of the right knee lifted through chest. Push the knee back with the elbow, so squeeze. Everybody's got a good burn going here. If you're doing it right, you should have an intense burn going. Keep the nice tight squeeze, please. Beautiful postures, guys. Pivot back to warrior two, looking forward. This is all we're doing. Come to a nice warrior two. Nice and big and strong. Come into that base, guys. Come into that base. And cartwheel to a plank. Looking forward, press to downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Lunge the left foot, right heel, 70 degrees. Come into warrior one, please. Palms together. So again, hip alignment, really working our bandhas here in warrior one. Nice long flat back. Much better on this side, guys. I'm looking at tighter grips, better hip alignment on the side. So starting to sit down into the hips a little bit. That's part of this class is we're going to open up the hips a little bit at the end after we get them nice and hot right now. Starting to open up the hips right here a little bit in our warrior one. This is a good hip opener for me. And exhale, warrior two. Straight arms over the legs. Make it big. Squeeze the heels. Strong warrior two. Warrior two is a strong athletic yoga posture using core strength, right? Core strength, knees to diaphragm, upper thighs, a huge part of core strength right now. If it needs to be a little bigger, let it be a little bit bigger. If it can be more supported, get a little bit better bonded through the back leg. Some of you can be a little bigger right now. Good adjustment, Stephanie. And again, on this side, turn your palms up and reach forward over the left leg. Continuing to pull back on the left heel. So we really want that burn here. Everybody in this group is burning. Those of you doing it at home, you should have a good burn happening right here. And we're just going to continue to breathe into that burn. So we want the burn. We're not avoiding it. We're breathing into it, settling into it. Reverse the posture. This can be a very beautiful posture, creating a compression down the right side of the torso, creating space for the vital organs on the left side of the torso, very much like a Bikram half moon pose. And come back to your warrior two pose. Just nice warrior two. Get a good base. Strong hands, Jake. Strong hands, Jake. Turn your palms up, reach forward. So again, everybody's got an intense burn going happening. We want that burn, but we want to stay strong and supported, breathing into the burn. And reverse the posture. So strong and supported, breathing into the burn. Again, if you need to come out of the posture and come back into it, do no harm. Listen to your body. Warrior two. Side angle, left elbow to the inside of the left knee. Parsva Konasana. Side angle pose. Working the knee back with the elbow. You get a little hip opener here. If you have tight hips, good opportunity to open the hip here as well. Push back to a warrior two and look forward and get a nice, big, beautiful, last example of warrior two in our class today. And cartwheel to a plank, looking forward, strong plank, pivot to downward facing dog. So again, just nuts and bolts today, big rocks. Lunge push-ups. Inhale the right leg up. Lunge the right foot. Stay on the ball of the left. Bring the hands straight up, shoulder width. All right, so we're going to go nice and slow. We're not going to do a whole lot of these today, but I really want good form. Lock the left leg all the way and make it burn here. So we're already doing it. We're not waiting to do something else. You should have an intense burn happening right here by engaging your left quadricep, pulling back on your right heel. Looking forward, bring your left knee to 1 inch off the ground and hold. Honest inch. So if you can't do this, if you're burning too bad, the knee can be on the ground anytime. Lock the left leg all the way. So if you fail, the knee comes down. Lock the left leg all the way and bring the left knee to 1 inch off the ground. We'll do 3 repetitions here so you know what you're doing. Keep a nice tight squeeze and lock the left leg. Burn it and lock it and sit into the hips. Left knee to 1 inch off the ground. Last time here today. Everybody's working hard. And burn it and lock it. Bring the prayer to the heart. Alex, bring your feet a little closer together. Bring that left foot in. Just there you go. And bring the left knee to 1 inch off the ground and hold it. Honest inch, please. Just 3 reps here. And burn it and lock it. Squeeze it and burn it and lock it. So really give it a good burn here. 1 inch off the ground and hold it. Honest inch, please. Hold it right there. And burn it and lock it. Squeeze heel over the ball of the foot. Sit down into a good lunge. Don't be impatient, please. 1 inch off the ground and hold it. I know y'all are working hard. Continue to, please. I know you're working hard. And burn it and lock it. Anybody burning? Yeah. Give it a good squeeze and breathe into it and love the burn. Love it. And hands on the floor. Move to a plank and pivot to down dog. Excellent. Nice job, all of you. Inhale the left leg up, same thing. Lunge the left foot, feet hip width. Bring the hands straight up over the head. Bring that back foot in just a little bit. I know it's balanced. I need you straight down the mat. There it is. Lock the back leg all the way. So we're going to take that same moment here we took on the other side. Really bond to the back leg. Bring the heel high over the ball foot. Right hip forward, left hip back. Some of you can square your hips just a little bit better here. Tight hips, I know. And bring the right knee to 1 inch off the ground and hold. Honest inch, 1 inch off the ground and hold. And burn it and lock it. And squeeze it and lock it on the burn. 1 inch off the ground and hold. Honest inch here. Honest inch. Everybody burns. Keep pulling back on the heel. Burn it and lock it. Burn it and lock it. Billy, smile. 1 inch off the ground and hold. There's a nice smile. 1 inch off the ground and hold. Hold. And burn it and lock it. Make your best example of a lunge here. Love the burn. Come on into it. Prayer to the heart. Prayer to the heart. Everybody's working hard. 1 inch off the ground and hold. We're going to go right through this. Honest inch though. Be clean. And burn it and lock it. 1 inch off the ground and hold. 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 Love the burn. Burn it and lock it. Last time to 1 inch off the ground and hold. Honest inch. Please make this clean. Last one. And burn it and lock it. Squeeze it. Love the burn. Engage, squeeze your quadricep against the bone. Engage your hamstring. Breathe it out, stay there. I know you're working hard. Jake, lock your back leg, last moment. And hands on the floor. Moving to a plank. Pivoting to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Step to the top of the mat. Just step to the top of the mat. Standing pose. Inhale into a chair pose, nice and deep. Kind of a dirty trick here. Sit a little bit lower, lift the chest a little bit higher. So our last little burner here before we go into some stretches, I really want you to challenge yourself. Sit down until the thighs are parallel. Start to bring the knees back a little bit if you can, stacking them over the ankle joints right now, and lifting the chest nice and high, opening through the heart chakra. And bring the prayer to the heart. Slowly lower down to Malasana. The feet are going to come wide here, so just come right on down to Malasana. Jamie's showing you how to do it right here. So the feet are out at about a 45-degree angle. Knees are tracking over the toes. Prayer to heart. Pushing the knees open with your elbows lifted through the chest. For me, I really feel a lot of width in my sacrum in this posture. That's where I'm looking for it. Other people feel it in other areas. We've got some nice examples. So active here, really pushing as you lift through the chest, trying to open your knees up a little bit wider as you lift the chest a little bit higher. Powerful yoga posture here. And just stay right there for a couple more breaths, settling into your posture. So we want to really kind of change modes here and just settle in to posture. And hands on the floor. Please move back to downward facing dog. Just transition to down dog smoothly. Preparation for one-legged king pigeon to one-legged king pigeon. Everybody feels preparation for one-legged king pigeon in a little different place. And if you have really loose hips, which I'm guessing most of you do not, tight hips are super common in Western society. Everybody here has pretty tight hips. You're not really going to feel this one a lot in your hips. So you're going to have to play around a little bit to get it in your hips if you're really loose. If you're tight, you're going to feel it right away. Inhale the right leg up, please. And bring your right foot to your right hand. Bring the left knee down on the ground. And then bring your right foot, for most of you, a little bit wider than your hips. And then you can either bring the elbows straight down to the ground, towards your hips, elbow straight down, or for some of you, you can wrap your right hand around the back of the right ankle and pull your forehead into the ankle if you want to. It kind of depends on you. So you're going to play around with this a little bit, and where do you find it in your hip joint here? But we want to ideally be able to find that dull, achy sensation. And you can play around a little bit if you haven't done this before. If you're not feeling this, maybe get my attention. You feeling that now? That knee's not moving? So it's really important the knee is stacked over the ankle joint. We were doing this before class because a couple people here hadn't done this before. And somebody said they weren't feeling their hip, but their knee was moving around, kind of out or in. So the knee has to stay stacked. If we're moving the knee, we're getting out of the hip. And then press up, take the pressure out of the hip and bring the right foot across the body. Try to keep it nice and high and bring the right foot under the left shoulder for one-legged king pigeon, or some people just call this half pigeon. So I'd like the foot up as high as you can to the shoulder, but no pressure on the knee. Everybody's going to feel this differently. And inhale, lift the chest like a halfway lift. Inhale, lift the chest up nice and high, and then lay down over the leg as much as you can. So I don't want the left hip up and right hip down. I want both hips square. Let's lift that right hip up a little bit more. So it doesn't matter how high your hips are right now. It matters that you're feeling it in the right hip. If I were to do this, I'd be quite a ways off the floor right now. I know for a fact my hips are very tight. You should feel a dull, achy, painful sensation in your hip joint right now. If you're not feeling this, again, if you're flexible on hips, probably the foot needs to come up higher under the shoulder, or you're dropping your right hip down. We want the hips both square. So again, we don't want this to happen, right hip down and left hip up, both hips square, even if they're 3 feet up above the floor. It doesn't matter where they are. And from here, I'd just like you to move back to a plank and stretch your right leg out. Just step back to a plank and stretch your right leg out. Get it nice and straight, release the knee, and pivot to downward facing dog. Or you can walk it out like Alex just did. But we want to take a moment here just to really release the hip. And same thing on the left. What you doing there? Inhale the left leg up. Lunge the left foot to the left hand, and then step it out if you did on the other side. Bring the right knee down and come on into it on this side. So you have a little bit of preparation. You just did it on the right, so there's not quite as much setup on this side. Again, try to have the knee tracking directly over the toes, not wide of the toes. And then sit down into the hips. Bring your elbows down. If you did wrap the hand around the outside of the ankle on the other side, you can go ahead and wrap the hand around the outside of the ankle on this side and pull your forehead right into the ankle joint. But what matters is that you're feeling it. It doesn't matter what this posture looks like. It matters that we've got that dull, achy sensation happening in the big ball and socket joint of the hip. It's a great big joint. And release the tension first by pressing up, and then bring the left foot across the body. Again, looking ideally for a right angle, but if you feel that too much in knee, the heel's going to come back. Jake's bringing his heel back a little bit. I would have mine back too. I would feel this a little bit too much in my knee, so my heel tends to come back a little. Again, inhale, lift halfway. It really creates some, push the hips down to the floor on that inhale lift, and then lay down over them. So as I'm doing that inhale lift, I'm pushing my hips down by lifting the chest, pressing my hips down into the earth. Excellent. So I'm going to be extremely repetitive again. It's super common that I see people with a left hip down on the side and right hip up, looking for a sense of false flexibility or bringing the foot back too far to the hip because they want to come all the way to the floor. I don't care if you're 2 feet up off of the floor with your hips. I want you to feel it in the ball and socket joint. That dull, deep, achy, painful sensation happening. To me, it feels good. You can feel we're creating space right in that hip joint. You all feel that ball and socket joint? They said yes. And move back to a plank posture. I like to just kind of stretch my left leg out a little bit here, get a little bit of release through the knee. I'm basically releasing my knee here. Beautiful. And press to downward facing dog. And come to your knees. You can do this both legs together, bring the knees together, separate your feet, or one leg at a time. Bend the left knee in, bring the right leg back, and come on back. So we're going to bend the left knee in if you're doing it one leg at a time, right leg forward in front of you. Left knee bends in front of you, and come on back for a quad stretch. You can do both legs at a time if you want to. Alex, be careful with it. So again, if you're flexible enough, you can do both legs at a time, you're welcome to. I do this posture one leg at a time. This is really a bread and butter posture for me. And if you'd like to start to come back a little bit, if your flexibility allows you, you can come back one hand, one elbow, one shoulder. And again, really listening to your body right now. Don't force anything, please. Alex has a lot of muscles. She's really listening to her body right now, what her body's needs are. Very important. We never practice asana with ego or a sense of false flexibility or having to force ourselves into any posture. We ease the door open through process. We never rip the door off of the hinges. So listening to your body, aware of your body's needs here. And work your way back up, please. Jamie, you stay right there. And switch. If you did one leg, switch. Go ahead and come on back up and switch. And there's no mistakes. We're just practicing yoga together. Switch, same thing on the other leg. And come back. And again, we're keeping these kind of informal intentionally. This is a real yoga practice that we're doing. Come on back, not something staged. So I want you to feel the energy of a real room. That means that sometimes mistakes happen. Sometimes we fall out of postures, things like this. That's yoga. That's part of yoga. Breathe into your quadricep. If you ever feel like you're forcing the knee down, you've come too deep. We don't want to force the knee down. And the tendons and ligaments around the knee joint will stretch a little bit, but we really want to listen to them. I definitely, if I do this cold in the morning, I definitely feel a nice opening in the tendons and ligaments around my knee joint. Are you sitting on your heel, Jake? Nope. So important not to sit on the heel. He wasn't. And come back up. I couldn't tell by looking. Come back up, please. Release both legs out in front of you. Just get a little release. And facing the front of the space, come to a straddle stretch. Bring the legs out to the side, straddle stretch. Another bread and butter posture for me, straddle stretch. You can kind of pivot yourselves a little bit, work with your neighbors. So walk the hips as far forward as you can in front of you. You all right, Alex? Hands, so straight spine. I want the chest lifted. So legs are out, put the hands on the floor and lift your chest up, chin forward. And then start to walk your hands forward and pull yourself forward. But I don't want you to drop the chest or chin, flat back. We're not looking for a round back. So it doesn't matter how close your chest is coming to the floor. It matters how far forward your lower abdomen is coming or how close your lower abdomen is coming to the floor. Breathe. And as the body starts to open, maybe you might be able to walk your hands out a little bit further forward. Maybe the legs might open up a little bit more as you walk it a little bit further forward. Beautiful. Breathe it out. Good. Nice example. So I encourage you to flex your toes back, nice active feet. There you go. We always want, active hands and feet are a big deal to me. Get that energy moving through the whole body, right? And come back up. I'd like you to bring your left arm on the inside of the left leg. So the thumb is up and the palm is up, and reach for the inside of the leg this way. This other way, thumb down. This, yep, that way. Can you do it that way? There you go. And then reach your right hand over your ear, like you're gonna, but you're not gonna be able to grab it, like you're gonna grab the outside knife edge of the foot, but not force it. Oh, nice. I'm gonna tuck you under a little bit more. So looking up underneath the right bicep, beautiful. Jake's got his variation going. Jamie's got a real nice variation here going. So beautiful. Everybody looks real good. Beautiful Billy, beautiful Stephanie. So I'm gonna see with Jamie if maybe I can just open her up a little bit more. And yes, I can open her up just a little bit more. And then use your right hand to bring you back up. The right hand will bring you back up, reach. And same thing on the other side. So I'll actually put my forearm on the floor and slide it towards the foot. So try to grab thumb down, if you can. Thumb down, Jake, can you do it? Flip your hand the other way. There you go. Reach your left arm over your bicep. So it doesn't matter if you can grab your foot or not. I cannot. I'd be about where Billy's at right now. It matters that we're feeling that nice stretch down the left side of the body. Really bring it into the QL. I'm looking for a nice stretch through your quadratus lumborum here, right behind your kidney on the side of the lower back. Beautiful. You're forcing just a little bit, buddy, but I'm going to help you force just a little bit. Nope, that's it. Okay. And then use your left arm to come back up. Pull yourself back up with your left arm. And just take a moment. Walk the hands back out in front of you again just to get the spine nice and straight. Walk the hands right back out in front of you where you started from already. Chest lifted. Reach them out in front of you. Come back up to center position. Slowly, don't be in a hurry. Bring your legs back together slowly. If you're really deep, it's important we release this posture with care. Windshield wiper them out a little bit. Release them. Let's really get a nice hip and hamstring release here. And turn around, lying dead body pose with your head towards the front of the yoga space. And close your eyes. It doesn't matter how long or short, how intense or how relaxing and restorative the practice is. What matters is that we surrender. We surrender the mind and are present. Present with breath, present in this moment. Take a long, slow inhale through the nose, make the lungs big and full. And fall. Namaste.